Broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella.
Okay? Like, just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome into another edition of The Rome Show, broadcasting live on YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. It's Tuesday, December 9th, 2025, and we've got a great show for the people. Head to youtube.com/The Romanellas, The Rome Show 1 on Twitter, X, and Instagram, or The Rome Show on Facebook to get in on the action today. Football on the docket, hockey with Rocky on the docket, and day number 3 of the Christmas giveaway here in the studios. So much to do on the Rome Show. Just a reminder, if you miss it or you love it and need to share it with a friend, the Rome Show podcast, wherever you listen to podcast. Week 14 in the National Football League ended last night with an, in my opinion, atrocious football game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers came away with a 22-19 victory. Here are the stat lines. It was an overtime thriller, I guess you could say, that saw Jalen Hurts, the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, throw 4 interceptions and 0 touchdowns. If you could have a negative passer rating, I would assume those are the numbers that take you to a negative passer rating. Jalen Hurts also lost a fumble in this contest. So, the quarterback of the Eagles was responsible for 5 turnovers last night. And with all that, the Chargers still had to kick a field goal in overtime and then force a defensive stop, which was Jalen Hurts' 4th interception, to win the game. Here's what I learned last night from both of those teams. Though the Chargers are now 9-4, and the Eagles drop 3 straight and go to 8-5, still sitting atop the NFC East, though they're trying very hard to not sit atop the NFC East. What I learned last night was that I have 0 confidence in either of those two football teams. There is not 1 ounce of my being outside of the defensive performance from the Chargers and a lot of the defensive things I've seen from the Eagles, just in general. I think it's heightened and doesn't look as good because their team isn't as good, but their defense is pretty good. But nothing gives me confidence on either of those teams. The Chargers at 9-4 or the Eagles at 8-5. The Chargers in second place in their division because they're with the Denver Broncos, who decided to be the best team in football to a degree to this point. I have no faith in either of these clubs when it comes time to the postseason. And the Eagles, who had the arguably greatest running attack in a single season in National Football League history last year, all of a sudden can't run the football. Saquon Barkley had 122 yards on the ground last night, with 45% of those coming on 1 run. There are runs where Saquon looks like he's back on the New York Football Giants circa 2023. So I believe I watched 2 very facadal football teams last night. If the postseason started today and the Eagles and the Chargers were in, I would have more confidence in a team like the Texans, who's finding their stride at 8-5. Maybe hasn't been great all year, but has been the greatest at the latest part of the season. I'd feel more confident in a Chicago Bears or a Detroit Lions. Bears with a quarterback that could be the worst quarterback in the league outside of anyone on the Jets roster. And the Detroit Lions, though were a 13-14 win team last season, just do not look that dominant, though they have the best running back in the league. But I feel more confidence in those 8-5, 9-4 teams than I ever will with either of those two teams I watched last night. And it's not because of, well, on the Eagles side of it, we have to break that down more time on another day. But I think we forgot that last season, though the Eagles won the Super Bowl, that made us forget that the year before, this exact same thing, similar thing, happened. At the end of the 2023 season, it felt like the Philadelphia Eagles were limping into the postseason under Nick Sirianni. Then you flip it to last year. It all clicks. The running game, the defense, pretty much everything. They were an elite football team last year. You go to the Super Bowl, you essentially break the Kansas City Chiefs. And you come back this year, and it feels like a shell of what last season was, which really was the entirety of the 2023 season. 2 of the last 3 tell me this is who the Eagles are. And the Eagles fan hopes not. But last night was a Monday Night Football contest of 2 teams that should be very good on paper, based on the trends from the last few years, the decisions that have been made inside the organization. Like, it should be that we were watching a potential Super Bowl matchup last night, but we weren't. What we were watching was 2 teams hoping that their crutches keep them upright so they can limp into the postseason. We sprint to the commercial break, and here's how we're going to do that today. It's the 3rd day of our It's a Rome Show Christmas Spectacular in December. What does that mean for you, the people? It means that we'll be giving away six giveaway days throughout the month of December, with today being giveaway number 3. There's been a hint. If you've been watching the show on youtube.com/the Romanellas or Twitter X, I have had the question posted in the studio this entire time. And if you'd like to know what it is, we will give it to you in 30 seconds after this commercial break. All right, it's Tuesday. We got to get to Rocky Romanella, so we make this quick, but you have the remainder of show to answer the question. We've been doing it all Christmas. We're calling it a Rome Show Christmas. You can call it whatever the hell you want. We're giving away hoodies, though, and in my opinion, they're fire. So, in watching the National Football League last night, and in watching week 14 of the National Football League, I realized something. Drafting a quarterback number 1 overall is not the guarantee you believe it is for your football team. Take a look at the draft picks over the course of the history of the National Football League, because I'm so devoted to this show. I went all the way back to 1944 for the people. Every draft that's ever happened in the National Football League, 39 total quarterbacks have been taken number 1 overall. Okay? If you were wondering how many of those quarterbacks are in the Hall of Fame, just only 4. 4 quarterbacks of the 39 drafted number 1 overall are in the Hall of Fame. Hold on to that nugget. If you look deeper into the 2000s, here's some statistics for you. 17 total quarterbacks have been drafted number 1 overall since the year 2000. That's wild, okay? Only 3 of them have won a Super Bowl. Yeah. 2 of them came from one guy. His name's Eli Manning. Shout out the New York Football Giants. And the other still playing in the league, a one and only Matthew Stafford with the Los Angeles Rams. Only 5 number 1 overall quarterbacks drafted after the year 2000 have even made it to the Super Bowl, let alone actually won the Super Bowl. Let's finish. Since 2010, okay? There were 6 quarterbacks taken first overall, okay? Excuse me. There were 11 quarterbacks taken first overall. 6 of them are with the same team, and by 2018, none of them are left with the same team from 2010 to 2018. Think about that. So is it the right decision to draft a quarterback first overall when all the statistics tell you, maybe only like a low percentage of them work out? So here's your trivia question. 4 quarterbacks, Hall of Fame status, first overall draft picks. One of them, Troy Aikman. The other, Terry Bradshaw. Can you name the next 2? 4 quarterbacks taken first overall that are in the National Football League Hall of Fame. One of them's Terry Bradshaw. One of them's Troy Aikman. Can you name the other 2? Rome Show giveaway number 3 for a hoodie. YouTube.com/The Romanellas. Twitter X, Instagram, The Rome Show 1, or you could DM me. However, you can text me if you got my number. Dangerous. 2 quarterbacks of the 4 I need you to name that were drafted first overall in the National Football League and are Hall of Famers. We'll get back after this commercial break. We'll give you the answer, or somebody else will, and win themselves a hoodie. Back with Rocky in a minute.
What is one thing every great leader has in common? They challenge their people to not stop at the first right answer. Tighten the Lug Nuts is a leadership book that will teach you how to move past the first right answer with entertaining and detailed examples founded in real-world concepts and experiences. Accelerate towards your professional goals with Tighten the Lug Nuts, one of the best leadership books available.
Oh, yeah. It's the Rome Show. It's a Tuesday, December 9th. Happy birthday to my sister, Nicole. Exhilarating stuff. The Monday Dieter, December 9th. Probably not listening to this, but happy birthday to her anyways. We just gave out the trivia question for the 3rd of the 6 days of Rome Show Christmas. 4 quarterbacks drafted number 1 overall in the National Football League that ended up in the Hall of Fame. I gave you Terry Bradshaw, and I gave you Troy Aikman. Can you give me the other 2? And I'll give you our favorite segment of the week. It's the Hockey with Rocky. Now, inside the glass, Hockey with Rocky.
Let's go. What's going on, everybody? We're going to light the lamp this morning. How we doing?
We are doing fantastic. I lit the lamp a few times last night, Rocky, and I won myself our team's team stick, which I got in front of me today.
So is this like the winner of the team stick gets to give out the stick each game?
Honestly, it's a great question. So the team name is the Aged Lumber. Okay, so this fine piece of lumber right here has been entitled the Wood. Okay, and so you give out the Wood to the best player of the game after every contest, and we have not. It was our first stick given out yesterday, which I was very honored to win. And we have not. I don't know if we're voting on it or if I give it away to the next guy next
Yeah,
week.
you give it to the player of the game the next game.
I got to be honest with you though. I'm definitely giving it to our goalie because he has been literally standing on his head. So
Well, it depends on if he's Swiss cheese next week, you can't
yeah,
give him.
that's not what we're looking for, huh? No, but man, 2 goals, 2 assists last night, and took home the Wood. Man, it's very exciting stuff.
I like it. Way to show up for the boys.
My my right hip's feeling it today though.
I'm sure it is. Yeah,
I woke
Aleve,
up.
Aleve is the number one supporter of men's league.
Oh man. All right. All right. Enough about me. Let's talk about the real people on ice. Rocky. We run down, obviously. But
Yeah.
I'm asking you today, if I could, to start with why the New Jersey Devils are playing such poor hockey because
I was going to ask you the same question.
they've lost 5 in a row. They've been
They have
outscored
lost
20.
five in a row.
They've been outscored 20-7 in those 5 contests. And since Jack Hughes tore his finger up at team dinner, the team is 4-8. Can one guy really make that much of a difference?
Yeah, we talked about it. We showed the statistics. We showed them 500, under 500 without him, and we showed them over 500 with him. And I guess we were good predictors,
Yeah,
at the end
right.
of the
Oh,
day. I mean, really thought his date with Tate McRae was going to help him out, and help the squad, but it hasn't been something that they could rally around.
no, not the sports car they were looking to purchase.
No, absolutely not. But I would say, like, you know what? And I haven't watched too much of the Devils. I've actually been caught on like a little bit of a West Coast swing here. But I think when you see a team that comes out of the gate the way the Devils did, they've got 3 years of like really good build. You expected a lot from their young group this year. I just think like this is the necessary like fumble that you're gonna need to become a playoff team this year, right? They've got to juggle the lines a little bit. Like not everything is set in stone. Like, hey, it's great that it worked for the first 25, 30 games. Like, hey, but we're gonna need to make a couple of adjustments here if we're gonna be a long-term winning team.
And I think it scares you as a fan, at least this is what scares me, is the repeatability of this thing. Kind of like what I talk about with the Dolphins in the National Football League. Like it would feel better to me if it didn't feel the same. And what feels like the last 2 or 3 years for the New Jersey Devils has been come out the gate pretty hot. Man, we're really excited about this young talent. Do you think we have a goaltender that could keep enough pucks out of the net? Will we score enough goals? And then you get to the 30 game mark of the season, the halfway mark of the season, and you're like, huh, I guess all of those questions came into fruition. So to me, watching the last 5, it looks like a group that took a step backwards. And to your point to start the show here, it probably more or less is a Jack Hughes thing than anything else. But that is a fragile situation then, Rocky.
I tell you what, like, and Markstrom's played the last 5 games. He's 2-3 in his last 5. Like, you might need to mix Jake Allen back in as like he kind of held the team together when Markstrom was out for a little bit at the beginning of the year. Like that might be something that you want to explore.
Yeah, it's such a big hockey move, huh? The goaltending mix up, pull the goalie,
I
it gets
mean,
the energy up.
they've played the equivalent number of games, right? Like 15 and 14, and like very similar. And Jake Allen has a better goals against. He's got a better save percentage. He's statistically the better goaltender with the equivalent amount of games right now. Like that might be something you got to take a look at. Does the team play better in front of Jake Allen?
It is a Tuesday with Rocky Romanella. Hockey with Rocky. Rocky's Rundown. That's the segment we got going on here. Rocky, one thing for me before you go into the rundown. Have you ever watched NHL on the fly?
The best show on television.
Dude, okay.
There's literally not a better sports show on TV.
Correct. Not for any of my money.
There's not one professional sports network who shouldn't have on the fly.
Yes, and it's like the Red Zone, but on steroids. It's like a better version of the Red Zone.
It's you literally get there's nothing better than a Saturday morning when 13 games happened. Because for 1 hour, you get 3 to 5 minute clips of every single game, every single goal. You like literally feel like you watched every game in the NHL.
It's awesome. Last night you said West Coast. Last night, as I was flipping back and forth between the atrocious Monday Night Football game that was on ESPN,
Oh,
I
so
was like,
that's so you're talking the nighttime edition of On the Fly.
oh,
I'm talking about the morning edition of On
okay.
the
I
Fly.
haven't tried the morning edition yet. I caught the
Okay, so
nighttime last night and I was
night
on the fly.
no live. Well, you get live look-ins. I mean, you can sit and watch. So
Oh.
the nighttime On the Fly, it's a lot. It's all live looking. So and like there's some commentating going on. So you got guys in the NHL Network booth, and then they'll do live look-ins like across the league, which is a great one. And then you've got On the
Oh.
Fly in the morning, which is like the 3 to 5 minute game recaps of every single
Oh,
game.
I was talking about the red zone at
Yeah,
night.
yeah,
They're in the studio and they're bringing you to each game.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
this
Those
is
are
sick.
sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that is no
Like, oh, the Buffalo
NHL.
Sabres are in the offensive zone right now. Let's go to this power play. I'm like,
Yeah,
this is sick.
dude, I know NHL Network. It's sick. I mean, it's funny. And yesterday was only West Coast. I mean, the earliest game started at 7:30. It was
Yeah.
the only East Coast game, Tampa.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you. I think the NHL is smart enough to make certain decisions with the scheduling. It's like, oh, all these people are going to be up watching football. So we might as well give them something to watch during. Like, it's almost like it's all like so dissected and perfectly thought out. Anyways, I was all fired up last night, Rock.
We're biased.
Yeah, we are. But also, it's like hockey and baseball and basketball are so hard to follow comparative to football because it's 3, maybe 4 days a week that your team is playing. Whereas football is so easy for people to be a fan of because it's like once a week I got to lock in when my team plays and that's it. So to give you something like NHL on the fly, for one, the ADD that I live with, but then more so anything else, just ability to see every team is really
Yeah.
cool.
The hardest thing for me, like in that sense, is 90% of football fanship is talk.
Fair.
Whereas like I don't have to watch one Rangers interview. I don't have to even I barely watch the pregame show. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
but I get to be I'm in the season all year because I get to be with them 3 to 4 days a week.
Yeah, and truthfully, if you
And
really
that's
do
much
like a
better to
sport,
me than listening to some talking head tell me how good or bad my
yeah.
offense or defense is. Like I don't
Wait, isn't that kind of crazy though? But that's where we've gotten with football. That though you only watch it once a week and it's only 6 months out of the year, the least out of any major sport, it is
at
that much
least
more engaging for people.
I mean it's not even close to the amount of soccer games that professional soccer
Uh,
teams play. I mean,
Soccer
soccer
is its
teams play
own
like 40
conversation.
games a year.
Yeah,
I mean, like this is literally, I mean, you're playing 17 times.
yeah.
If you're a bad team, like I've only watched the Giants play 17 times 10 years. Oh, whereas, like, if you're in the playoffs every year, you get an extra game.
That's such a good point. We're talking to Rocky Romanella here, resident hockey expert. Before he goes into his one rundown, we remind the people, by the way, that today is day 3 of the Rome Show giveaway. We're giving away hoodies twice a week up until Christmas. We gave out a question before. We were talking about number 1 overall draft picks in the National Football League. 39 total number 1 overall draft picks have been quarterbacks in the National Football League. Since 2000, there have been 11 overall, only 4 that have reached the pinnacle status of Hall of Fame. I gave you Terry Bradshaw and Troy Aikman. Can you give me the other 2? Rocky, do you know them?
I know that there's going to be a 5th once they let Eli Manning into the Hall of Fame.
That's a really, really good commentation out of you right there. Do you have any idea? You can't answer it because then you'll get the answer. But do you have any idea who the 2 quarterbacks off that list are?
No, I gotta relook. I wasn't paying. I was listening and I was watching, and I was like, I was more when you were going through. I was more invested in all the busts than I was in the actual question.
I
I
mean,
was like
listen,
reading the names.
we're here for hockey with Rocky, but it's like, dude, I was last night. I'm going to myself, actually, more so than when I was watching the Bears and Caleb Williams just throw a terrible interception to end that game. I was like, is it like maybe the Giants are in the best possible spot right now because they have the first overall pick with a quarterback that they like. Now they might actually have a chance to be better long term.
Yeah, well, listen, there's so many more questions and answers to that one that I just can't get into this morning. I don't know if I can confidently say that we are going to be better off or not, because at this point, my optimism has been stretched thin when it comes to the Giants.
You know what the goal horn means, Rocky. Give us the rundown.
All right, we are talking about ties today in the NHL because the parity has nothing to do with how good or bad your team is, and it has to do with how many games you are going to overtime.
Wild.
Let's look at a couple of teams to prove the point. The Pittsburgh Penguins are sitting in front of the New York Rangers, and they are tied each at 34 points. However, the Pittsburgh Penguins have 6 overtime losses. That's 6 points they've gained on losses. The Rangers only have 4 overtime losses, right? They have more losses overall at 16 comparative to the 13. But you could argue that the Penguins should have more points since they've lost less games. And you could also argue the Rangers should
Is
have more points.
Rocky, is this something that the National Hockey League's ever going to change? Like, why are we still stuck on this ties thing?
I think you can't change it only because it would mess with way too many player interviews and coaching interviews talking about how important the 2 points are.
Yeah, I guess that's
Um,
fair. And oh, we were able, we got away with, came away with 1 point there. You know, we want the victory, but you know, you get 1 point and you move on.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
I
right.
don't think I don't think it's going to matter too much. I mean, the talk would be giving 3 for the W or
Sure.
not awarding any points at the tie level, which then you would give away 2 points with no tie if you went to a shootout, which would be a tough thing. I
That's a
guess
tough
you could
thing.
go. I guess you could go no points if you lose in an overtime, but you get the point if you go to a shootout. I guess you could do would be like the probably a hybrid of it, which would prevent people from going. But like you don't necessarily have that big of a problem. And the only reason I say that is because I mean, listen, you look at, like you look at the Avalanche and the Stars, right? Like the Avalanche, 6 overtime losses, that's 6 points that would bring them down to 42. Right. But the Stars have 5 overtime losses, and that would bring them down to 40. So the difference is 2 points versus 3 points in a gap between first and second. So again, like you'd still be in the same position.
But does it change
Right.
something for like a Winnipeg Jets where they're straight up 14, 13, and 1? And it's like if you took 14, 13, and you made it 14, 7, and 6, it's like such a huge difference. But I guess what the NHL is saying is you earned that point because you made it to overtime. Is that the idea there?
Well, that's how it's always been. Like back before there was shootouts, if you went to overtime, both teams got a point, and then no one got the extra 2 points if the game ended in a tie.
And yeah, I
That
guess
was
it's
that
changed
was
so much you
before
forget.
2006. That was before 2006. So you've actually awarded an extra point for the last 25 years just in shootouts.
Yeah, not even in the
Like
fake. Yeah, you're right. And in the thought of winning the game or losing the game or anything.
correct. What comes to a head is your ability to win in regulation.
Yeah.
So, like if I'm Vegas, I've got 8 overtime losses. I'm sitting in second place, but I'm extremely vulnerable.
Yeah.
So, ultimately, like as the season gets going, it creates a little bit more desperation because you have to start winning in regulation to put teams away.
Yeah, I mean, it makes so much sense. And then it also tells you like what happens when we get to the postseason because that overtime is going until somebody puts a biscuit in the back of the net. And so you don't want to be somebody. Now, last question to follow up on this. The shootout loss counts as an overtime loss there, right? So like there could be shootouts in that mix that really is a skew of that stat too.
Yeah, either way, you're not winning games. I mean, the Ducks are
In the 60.
probably like would you rather your team look like first place Ducks,
Okay.
only one OT loss, so they have 10 regulation losses, but they're matter of fact. Like we're either winning or we're losing. We got a
Right.
plus 12 goal differential.
Sure.
Like, does that translate to me being able to win a tight game or not? Or do I look at Vegas right behind them, right? Only a 1 point difference, but 8 points coming from losses. Like,
Yeah.
do I have more confidence in Vegas winning a tight game down the stretch, or do I have more confidence in Anaheim? Like, I don't know. I might lean towards Vegas only because they've got more they've got more playing time in a one on in a single goal game.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point out of you. I appreciate that perspective. Continue.
So next up, we move into the Olympics, where it looks like the rink is going to be okay. The problem now is going to be the ice. So the ice surface is going to be 197 feet long instead of the standard NHL 200. Good news. The European series that Pittsburgh and Nashville played also played on this exact same length, and they interviewed the players. They said they were fine.
Okay.
Um, the caution now is the ice going to be good enough? But it sounds like structurally we're okay, but if the ice needs to be made properly.
Well,
Now,
isn't
I
there
will tell
supposed
you,
to?
making ice isn't easy.
No,
I
it's not
thought
just
I had
pouring water on a tarp rock.
I took my first couple steps this morning. I was like, oh, we're okay. I started making my way to the deep end. I heard a bit of an under crack. I was like, I got to get off this thing. Before I could get off it, I was running off because my foot was starting to step in, and I
Oh,
made some cracks. I got a couple of craters, which
all
I'm
right.
disappointed about because I've messed with the long-term structural integrity of my ice.
Sure, sure.
But hey, I had to try it out. I should
Yeah,
have put a
listen.
child on that ice first.
Yeah, maybe like a less poundage person,
Definitely.
or maybe
Yeah,
even
a
just a
hundred
plus.
pounds, 100 pounds less would have been better.
But I gotta think that there are supposed to be like, when did this Olympic bid get made? 12 years ago? Like, isn't there like a
I
line like
don't,
you gotta
I
play
don't,
hockey? Like, I don't understand. How is
I
that a
don't,
thing?
I don't get it because you're right. We chose this destination 25 years ago.
Right? Like,
You
this
couldn't
is
start the rink build a little bit earlier.
this Olympics might have been born before I was, and our ice isn't ready yet. Like, that makes no sense to me. And if I am the NHL, that does fire me up. Like, the 3 feet rock on the rink might not make that big of a deal, but bad ice, we're starting to talk about like the Four Nations type crap, where it's like it was fun for the fans, but it's not really healthy for the players.
That's the thing. If the ice is bad, the players won't play. So that is that'll be something that we pay attention to February 5th, the women's. So 2 months from the women's opening night.
USA, USA.
Over in the collegiate athletic sphere, shout out to head coach Arizona State University Ice Hockey Sun Devils, Greg Powers, who just announced an endowment specifically for the men's hockey coaching position. They
Oh,
just extended him 5 years. Why do we love this? We love it because Coach Powers had been there for the 7 years prior to the elevation, was instrumental in finding the initial donation of $32 million to elevate ASU's program to Division One, has been the bench boss all 11 season in Division One. Notable performances included a sweep of Denver last year, and they are officially a part of the NCHC. So shout out to Greg Powers over at ASU.
that's an awesome story, because when those program changing things happen, it's not often that the guy helped make the change gets to stay through the higher level. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, especially when he's an Acha coach over to the D3.
Gotcha.
Looks like Albright College and St. Joseph out of Connecticut will be adding D3 hockey. So,
All right.
there's like 95 D3 hockey teams now, which I don't necessarily agree with, but shout out to growing the game.
Yeah, it's like the double-edged sword, right? You're growing the game, but are you putting that at the right level? My guess is the amount of schools that need tuitions at the D3 level, they figure hockey 25, 30-man roster, let's get the people in the door.
Yeah, but until the NCAA allows D3 to play more than 25 games in a regular season, I
It's
can't
just
support it. I
ugh.
just can't support it. I can't
Can I-
support it because go play in the ACHA and go play 35 to 45
right.
games.
And you probably
And
have more fun, get more, travel more, see more, better teams. Like, it's all probably better, I bet.
just have like a better college experience. I mean,
Can I
all
can
of
I
the
say this
above.
real quick? Can I say this real quick before you finish the rundown? Okay. I'm kind of over the not the divisions in NCAA, because it makes sense, right? Like, the talent level has to be split, but I'm over us acting like the levels that are essentially just Division 3, like, oh, it's just going to be about the academics. Like, let's just blow this whole thing up. Allow me to give money, allow D2 to give money, allow the ACHA to give money. Let coaches have NIL at any level. Why do we even care at this point in time? If a D3 kid has who cares? Like the kid's paying college tuition, he probably deserves more games than the
I
kid that's
think
getting
that
paid.
I think the NIL it commercially is great for Division One, who have been, obviously those commercialized people that have been being used for so long get to make money on their name, which is great. But like at the D3 level, I think it's even more powerful, especially from a community standpoint. Right, because I can go sign an NIL deal with like the local pizza shop, and maybe I get myself free pizza for the rest of my career in college. But
Exactly
like,
right.
there's so many opportunities to market yourself and like should become better suited for yourself like after you leave college. So I do think it's very valuable at that level.
Like, give me a $10,000 pool. D3 coaches, you get $10,000 and you can give that allotment out to any kid on your roster up to $1,000. Think about that. I could have 10 kids on a D3 roster. It's a mere $1,000, but doesn't that feel cool? Doesn't that change things a little bit, So I just think at this point in time, what integrity are we holding on to, Rocky?
No, there is none. I mean, it's you're offering athletics for tuition. You might as well let them be athletes.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Great.
And that's my rundown.
Wow. Honestly, that could have been my favorite rundown of all time. That was electric stuff. We talked college hockey. We talked National Football League. We talked the Devils. We talked good hockey teams, bad hockey teams. Hell, we even talked hockey teams that play club hockey and now play Division I hockey. That is a rundown for the people, Rocky. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, and I've got, and I'll leave you with this, my lack of understanding of college athletics, but I'll switch over to Division I football. I'm still trying to figure out why Ole Miss wasn't ahead of Alabama in the SEC championship game. And I'm still trying to figure out why Notre Dame isn't in, which I feel two sides about. A, they should be in, but B, like, get yourself in a conference. Like,
Yes.
I can't, like, I'm on both sides. Like, I hate both sides of it, so I don't care.
I think that I read something yesterday, Rocky, that I'm not a conspiracy theory person. I'm not like, I don't dive into that stuff often, but I read something yesterday and I'll keep it short for you. The bottom line is ESPN owns all of the rights for all of these conferences. So ESPN is slowly squeezing and screwing Notre Dame and the committee, almost convincing that they shouldn't be in so that they join a conference, because ESPN, the only school that ESPN doesn't have media rights for is Notre Dame, because they're on NBC.
NBC, yeah, that makes
it
does make sense because there's not a world where you wouldn't want Notre Dame in.
Correct. I mean, and listen, and this is coming from the guy, by the way, people. Let's go back in time really quickly, okay? Circa, I don't know, maybe like 2011. Manti Te'o was the linebacker for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They were playing Nick Saban. Might have been 11. I have no idea. They were playing Nick Saban's Alabama Crimson Tide. I was going on and on to Rocky about Notre Dame deserves to be in. Rocky's like, this is a joke. They've played no one. They're going to get waxed. And they got waxed. So if there's anybody that's going to tell you that Notre Dame deserves nothing, it is Hockey with Rocky, because he's been doing it for 15 years.
And I love Notre Dame, right? You got to love Rudy, right? I'm a small guy, Rudy. They got a great, they got a
story.
They got a great hockey, great hockey rink, like all the above, great hockey jerseys, great story, gold helmets, all the above. But like when it comes to football and the modern day, like there's just no place. There's just no place for it.
Just getting a conference. Rocky Romanella, just fantastic stuff out of you. I would say we give you the wood for your efforts on the show today.
Oh, let's go. Honestly, you've inspired me. I got to find something for my team.
Yeah, I like it. It's very motivating, even in men's league. Very motivating.
Oh, you can't replicate the camaraderie in a men's league locker room. There's nothing like it.
There is absolutely nothing like it. Rocky, you have a fantastic day.
See you, peoples.
Give him the goal horn as he gets out of here. That's how good he was. Every Tuesday, Hockey with Rocky joins us, and it is an absolute blast. People ask me all the time, what do you talk about on your show? First thing I say is everything. Second thing I say is sports. And then there's always like a follow-up, like, oh, do you talk about, like, is it more football, more this, more that? And I'm like, listen, we talk about everything, including every Tuesday, Rocky comes on the airwaves and breaks down hockey in every form. And I don't know many shows outside of the NHL network that can do that. So you must be staying tuned in, especially if you're a hockey guy, at least every Tuesday. Let's finish the show with the question of the day. I told you today is day number 3 of the Rome Show giveaway contest. Okay, so to finish the show, I will ask the question one more time. As you know, the answer to this question goes all the way up until the end of the day today. I do believe we've had 3 winners so far to date. I had a literal tie on day number 1. I ended the show, got a text message and a DM in exactly the exact same amount of time. So I gave both those dudes a winner. We had a winner at the back end of the show on Thursday last week, and now we enter the final giveaway opportunity today. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal. During the history of the National Football League, 4 quarterbacks that were drafted number 1 overall, 4 quarterbacks drafted number 1 overall, made it to the Hall of Fame. The first one, Terry Bradshaw from the Pittsburgh Steelers. A second one, Troy Aikman on the call last night, Monday Night Football, for the Dallas Cowboys. And there are 2 more quarterbacks out there that were a first overall draft pick in the National Football League and made it to the Hall of Fame. If you can name those 2 quarterbacks alongside Terry Bradshaw and Troy Aikman, you will win yourself a Rome Show hoodie here for the holiday season. Thank you to everybody who tuned in today. I appreciate you always. Thank you to Rocky for coming in here and dropping that fantastic hockey knowledge. The Rome Show airing every day on youtube.com/the Romanellas, Twitter, X, and Instagram will return tomorrow morning at 7:05 a.m. Get us on social media if you know the answer to the trivia question. Text me if you have my number. Email us. 2 quarterbacks remaining on the list of number 1 overall draft picks to make it to the Hall of Fame. Terry Bradshaw, Troy Aikman, and who to win yourself a Rome Show hoodie? Andrew Romanella, the Rome Show. Have an electric Tuesday. Happy birthday to my sister. Peace, everybody.